next, if I could call on Mike Shields, who's actually the Oshawa-riding nominee for the NDP.
I would like to join with the previous speakers in thanking Barry for organizing this and allowing us to come together to celebrate Jack's life. I really want to touch on 2 points. The first, the personal Jack Layton that I got to know that meant so much to me, and secondly, I want to touch on the persona of Jack Layton and the leader that Canada fell in love with. On the personal note, it really was 3 years ago this week that I got a phone call from Jack Layton on the eve of a federal election saying, "Mike, I'm coming through Oshawa. I'd like to stop at your house and talk to you about something." Well, I kind of had an idea what it was, and anyways, my wife asked me, "Well, what are you going to say when he?" I assumed that he was going to ask me to run in Oshawa, and I didn't see. I'm like Larry Ladd. I'm a lifelong New Democrat, but didn't see myself in the role of electoral politics. But by the time 2 pots of tea, and by the time Jack Layton left my house, I was a candidate. And actually questioning myself why I hadn't become one earlier, because when I said, "Jack, I didn't see myself in that role. What we've seen on TV is how he is with you one-on-one." He said, "Mike, you've fought for social and economic justice for workers your whole life. This is an extension of what you've done." And it just felt so natural to do that. And you'd think, well, okay, he wanted to fill a team of over 300 candidates across Canada. I was unsuccessful in that bid. Does Jack forget about you? Absolutely not. Earlier this year, I was diagnosed with prostate cancer, and just before I went in for my surgery in June, who phones me but Jack Layton, reassuring me that everything would be all right and not to sweat it. And I say to my wife, how sad, how cruel. 10 weeks ago he's on the phone telling me I'm going to be all right, and here we are celebrating his life. He's gone. Jack Layton, the persona, the politician that Canada fell in love with like no other politician in our collective lives that we've ever witnessed, as my good friend April said, has, for us, we went through some rough times as New Democrats, from the Bob Rae debacle to the fact that now Jack made us proud to be New Democrats again, but more importantly, he made us proud to be Canadians. All of a sudden, a politician isn't a 4-letter word. You take pride of what he represented, of what he did to Canada, and making them believe in the electoral system, to believe in social democracy. And like all of you, wasn't it nice? Not nice in the sense that we lost them, but as Canadians, we collectively gathered around the TVs and in Toronto and watched something that wasn't a hockey game together. We all watched it, and I'll tell you, the hair on the back of my neck stood up when Stephen Lewis. For those of us who were asked to speak tonight, the worst thing you could have done is what I did. Before I came here, I went on YouTube and watched the eulogy. And you talk about the feeling of self-imposed impotence when you want to talk about something after listening to that. But when Stephen Lewis got to the point, we've all quoted the young lady over there with love, hope, and optimism on her t-shirt. We all are quoting that. But Stephen Lewis doesn't have to quote. When he got to the point at about the 3-minute mark of his eulogy, and he said, Jack's love letter, because that's what it was. It was a love letter to Canadians. In his love letter, what he said is nothing short of a manifesto for social democracy. I had goosebumps. I absolutely had goosebumps. And when they read his letter to Canadians, I don't care how tough you think you are, if you didn't have tears in your eyes, you're not human. I'm proud to call Jack Layton my friend. We will miss him, but the greatest tribute that we can pay him is not a state funeral, is not even gathering here tonight in this intimate setting, but rather joining together and continuing the work that he thought was so important, that he said on his deathbed for us to carry on. I'm proud to call Jack Layton our friend. Thank you.